Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Dairoku. Just continuing where we left off. I am moving, and the bird almost fell over. Sorry, buddy. He's up here with me. He has been a very, very naughty bird all day today. He's been a very bad boy. I love you, but you're very bad. And I'm telling everybody, I'm shaming you. Because you have just pooped everywhere you were not supposed to poop. You was doing so good. Pooping on your cage, not pooping on the couch. I know it's a learning curve for you. Because we don't poopies on the couch. And, like, he's used to, like, used to be puppy pads in my apartment next to the couch. So he knew he could poop over the side, and it'd be fine. But now he's like, oh, I'm sitting on the back of the couch, snuggling with my toys. Oh, I'm just going to back up and shit down the back of the couch. What the fuck? You've never been allowed to do that. He comes over all day today. He's been like, I'm going to fly over, take a shit on the floor next to the couch. I mean, I'm mad at you because no, that's not where we're pooping. But at the same time, it's like, at least, you know, you knew you could poop there in the old house. But like, what the fuck possesses you when you're sitting by your cage area where there's puppy pads, everything, to fly over just to take a shit and leave? Fuck you! Goddamn asshole. Goddamn asshole. You know, some days you have good days. I have a feeling that he's just being a little bastard. I love you. He's all like snuggling with my neck. I love you, you son of a bitch. I think he's being a little bastard because, like, I had to go to work this week. So, you know, Wednesday and Thursday it was get up, go to work, come home. And, like, today, Friday, was like, oh, I can work from home. So now he's like, fuck you. You left me for 2 days. Like, he's mad. Like... But he's not acting like mean and nasty. He's just pooping where he's not supposed to fucking poop. So, anyway, now he's snuggling and being nice, but he's still a naughty, naughty bird. He's still a naughty bird. I love you, but you're naughty. You're bad. You're bad today. You don't deserve treats. And yet, you have tons of treats all over the place because, whatever. Anyway. That's my story. So, anyway. Yeah, we got hurt. Right. Okay, it's been like a day or two. I didn't actually get to do any games yesterday. Like, when I go to work now, because, like, when I work from home, it's nicer. I'm not gonna lie. Because then it's like, oh, between calls, like, oh, throw laundry in. Oh, I'll unpack a box. Oh, I'll put this stuff away. Or I'll do something, like, in between calls, like, when I'm not busy. And I'm like, eh. If I'm at work in the office and I'm not busy, I just sit there. And I'm like, I hate this. I'm so bored. And then, like, I come home and the last thing I'm not motivated to be like, oh, okay, I'll clean. Or, oh, okay, I'll put stuff away. I put away all my acrylic stands today. I unwrapped them, set them all up, put them away. Like, I vacuumed the floor today. I mean, that's not a lot of shit, but it's still more like I come home after work. I'm like, I don't even want to record games. I just don't want. Like, it's hard finding a groove, like, back to quote-unquote normal, when your normal was, I just do whatever the hell I want during the day, blah, 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 and then I'm motivated to do, like, I have no motivation anymore. So, I don't know. Like, going to work all day, and then you're like, I just don't want to do anything. I'm just gonna lay here and do nothing. I should go upstairs and play games, but I don't wanna. I don't know, so it's been very hard with this whole going back to work, like, to get motivated to do things that I even I enjoy. I enjoy doing this, but I just don't have the motivation to walk upstairs and load my computer and doing it, like, because, like, going into work and then being bored all day, just, I don't know, so. It's a rough transition, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, we're probably not as ahead as we were, like, 3 weeks ahead. I was like, yeah, now I'm like, we're like, I don't know, like a week or two. I don't even know. I don't know. Hopefully we're still 3 weeks ahead, but I just feel like I could have gotten so much more accomplished if work wasn't thrown off my groove. Anyway, so that was my 10-minute rant. It's only 4 minutes, whatever. So yeah, we went to the event. The dude tried to attack us because he wanted to eat the Ningyo or turn them into elixirs or some shit or whatever. And now Hira's mad at us. So, oh, there's the... Oh, anyway. Wow, that looks like it hurts. Are you sure you're okay? You're the one that should go to the hospital, and much less so Admin Manager Kaneda, don't you think? Admin Manager Kaneda went to the hospital? I think you mean his son, Tadashi, but anyway. I'm alright. It's not as deep as I thought. I answered Yakumo as he applied the bandage to my wound. He couldn't help from staring at me in worry. He is a good boy. If he turns around and backstabs us, I'm gonna be so mad. Anyway. I can't stay in the real world now of all times. The admin manager's son, Kaneda, claimed he simply wanted to meet the Ningyo, but the Ayakashimori and I knew he would bluff. He deflected the blame, claiming that I restrained him and that the emergence of the knife was merely an act of self-defense against our team. I'm sure the admin's manager is going to believe him. It's his precious baby boy. You'll regret this! My father will hear about this! Fucking typical. What happens to these Ayakashi protectors if left unchecked? Or are those monsters themselves that you sort of protect? This isn't the end! God, I hate this guy. We should have stabbed him with his own knife. It's depressing just remembering it all. Master.
Spacey, this isn't the end of the world. Your page is so worried about you, he's forgetting to keep himself hidden, you know.
I like how Koya was just there and all of a sudden there's just exclamation point and he disappears. Called out by Sammy, Koya hid himself again in a fluster. Koya... I couldn't see him anymore, but I'm sure he was at my side. He's in a... Oh, that's Sammy. Okay, never mind.
He's in a bit of a shock, thinking how he let you get injured. But, well, we're all more than grateful that you protected the Ningyo.
The situation was just a mess. Sure, we might be able to handle Ayakashi, but fighting humans isn't our specialty.
On top of that kid's just a pampered runt fussing over a few hits and scratches. Atsuya, that brat's goal was to get the Ningyo's flesh, wasn't it?
As Sammy called out to him, Chief Tokiwa nodded, pursing his lips pensively as he entered a deep train of thought. That makes sense considering the situation, but definitely not what he made things seem to be. He either acted on behalf of someone else, or had a lead on where he could sell to. But he's the pampered little boy of that bureaucrat, right? I'm sure they're rich, so why would he need to sell contraband?
Well, regardless of how well off his family is, there's still the matter of government funding. Could be all sorts of reasons for needing money.
Oh, right on time. In a pained smile, Chief Tokiwa picked up the phone that began to ring. After a succinct back and forth, he gave a sigh and looked our way. Admin Manager Kaneda has forced his way into Jingu. He's making a scene at the Kokuromon, so I'll go and meet him and bring him here to Sakuratani.
Already, huh? We just got finished kicking out his son.
Spacey, what do you want to do? This may just be him repeating more unbearable dialogue. I was the one in charge. If I'm not here, I don't think we'd get anywhere. Alright, still, don't push yourself. He looks so proud of us. Proud of us too, Chief. Later we can make out. What? Nothing. You're here for this kind of bullshit, aren't you? Anyway. And so I waited for the admin manager's arrival in the chief's office. Admin manager may be capitalized, but we don't call him we don't call him admin manager. Okay? It's just the admin manager. Oh my god. It's like that episode of Arrested Development. You can be Mr. Manager. Alright, I'll be Mr. Manager. We just say manager. Okay. So, how do you feel, Mr. Manager? Right, I'm Mr. Manager. No, we just say manager. Oh, hey. Fucking Michael and George Michael going back and forth about being the manager of the banana stand. And every time George Michael said Mr. Manager, freaking Michael's like, no, it's just manager. Don't say Mr. Manager. But then he kept calling him Mr. Manager. That is literally the vibes right here. I waited for admin manager's arrival. It's his title, not his name. Hey, so which of those damn Ayakashi attacked my son? In mere moments, admin manager Kaneda barged into the chief's room with some agents in tow. They weren't from the 6th. Chief Tokiwa jumped in front of the admin manager, who looked ready to strangle someone. Please calm down. No one attacked your son. As Ayakashimori, we stepped in to prevent him from taking any rash actions. I like Tokiwa's face right now. He's pissed. His angry face. He's like, don't even fuck with me right now. Like, it's just, it's a simple angry face. It's not a heated, like, I will stab you angry face, but he is like, I will stab you. Just wait. Like, anything rash? You talk to me about rash? You're twisting the story to save your asses. Not only was my son almost hurt by Ayakashimori's spells, and Ayakashi even beat him up. I don't remember the voice we gave admin manager Kaneda, but whatever. I do feel very regretful that this incident happened, even after you put your trust in us. Wow. That's gotta be so hard to ass kiss like that for some twat who doesn't deserve it. Oh, Tokiwa. However, it seems there's a conflict between the situation we understand and the one you do, admin manager Kaneda. We were all there, were you? There you go. That's because you're all lying to... And let me be clear. We do intend on contacting the investigation unit and question all the witnesses and parties involved. And to claim this or that is a lie is all baseless logic, and we'll never get to any answers. He's like, and everyone's gonna say on our side, because hi. Besides, there's nothing that you'd be worried about if an investigation was conducted, right? As Chief Tokiwa conveyed his words calmly, Admin Manager Kaneda, who was so furious up until then, suddenly changed his tone. Well, I hope you do so as well. I will be reporting this failure of the Sixth and the dangers of the Ayakashi to upper brass. Also, the Ayakashimori who escorted my son. I heard she was a young woman. Are you sure there was no mistake on her part? How dare you! My only mistake was not being able to kick your son in the teeth. My body stiffened when Admin Manager Kaneda glanced my way. Oh, yeah, see, I could never do this because I'd be like, go fuck yourself, and then I'd get fired. Actually, I'd probably just cry. Inside, I'd be like, go fuck yourself, but exterior me, I'd be like, I don't know what's happening. I'm a crier, okay? I'm like all pop insert right here. I'm like, yeah, I'd kick his ass. No, I wouldn't. I'd probably just cry in a corner. Literally, actually me in any given situation. Stress, cry. Angry, cry. Happy, cry. Sad, cry, obviously. I mean, God. The answer is always cry. So, well, whatever the case, I'm disappointed. All of this happened because an incompetent Ayakashimori was put in charge. Kind of true. I'm gonna, like... We're not exactly I'm not saying we're incompetent, but we're not exactly the most competent. We're new at our jobs. So, like, we're new. Okay. I'll ask that you take responsibility for this. Once my report gets processed, she'll no longer be here. I'll accept no refutations on the matter. I understand, Admin Manager Kaneda, but my subordinate's actions are my responsibility. Please don't go out of your way to punish her. Also, I didn't really want to mention this, but if the Ayakashi hadn't stopped your son's attack, then I would have with my own hands. Chief Tokiwa! You're so hot right now. If I wasn't hot for him before, I mean, I would be now. I mean... Ugh! I just can't get through to you! Admin Manager Kaneda barked, and not hiding his anger, stormed out of the chief's office. His real-world agents chased after him in haste. Those people might actually be subordinates close to Admin Manager Kaneda. So that must have been why his son was allowed to bring a knife with him for self-defense. If I'd only just been more aware. Chief Tokiwa covered for me, but I think Admin Manager Kaneda's words affected me a bit. Regret weighed heavily in my chest. Hira's Thoughts, Chapter 6. Ooh. Were we already in Chapter 6? I think we were. Yes, we've been in Chapter 6. Never mind. Spacey, I think it's best for you to go home and rest for today. Huh? Leave everything else to us. With the inspection team in action, we can expect a fair decision. And there's no way he can actually demolish Sakuratani, so there's nothing to worry about. Thank you very much. I could still lose my job because his son is a twat. A pompous, pampered, rich twat. Doesn't this just boil your motherfucking biscuits? Anyway.
Atsuya, can you let her rest not just for today, but for a while longer? I'm worried Admin Manager Kaneda will come barging in again, and I don't want to force anyone looking like this.
You're right. Then until the situation calms down,
remain on standby at the dorms or your home in the real world. If anything comes up, we'll call you up at once.
I have a home in the real world too? Who's paying that rent? Like, in all seriousness, am I paying that rent? Are they paying that rent? Like, I get the dorms for freebies, but like, if I never go home, oh my god, who's watering my plants? Fuck. Who's taking care of my birds? She doesn't have birds, but I do. Anyway. Do I really look that terrible? You kind of have sad face right now, though. Yeah. But there were so many things that happened today, and I still couldn't take all of it in. I'd be in do I really look at that bad? As tears and snot streaming down my face, and they're like, yes. But they still love me after. That's nice.
I'll confiscate it if you misuse it again.
Hira, did you enter the drinking competition? Did you win?
What are you talking about? You're the one who told me to win. Take this. The prize. I don't need it. You take it.
I'm blushing. Oh, sweet boy. There were a lot of things that made me happy, but in the end, you're like, it was such a happy day. He gave me the prize, and this happened. And now Hira hates me. I think it was supposed to just be his angry face. I didn't even read a line or anything, huh? Remembering how Hira looked back then, all the strength from my body just drained away. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't put any effort in, and all I could do was obediently accept Chief Tokiwa and Seimi's suggestion. Taking a break. It's already 3 in the afternoon. Normally, I'd already be on my way to the office to start work by now. However, while lying on my bed in the dorms, I hadn't even changed into my uniform. Actually, I wasn't allowed to change into it. The chief and Seimi put it nicely, but this was a self-imposed house arrest. Was what I did wrong? Muddling thoughts entered my mind. For example, my tendency to do everything myself instead of asking people and Ayakashi for help. Or not obsessing about what makes Ayakashi and humans different, but instead thinking of ways we can unite and coexist peacefully. I didn't want to admit I feared being mistaken, but because of that...
You think you monsters can retaliate against humans? Enough already. Stop talking.
Hira had become like that, to help me, because I called for him. My eyes shut themselves tight. I was too sad to bring myself to do anything. Then I thought of how scary Hira looked. Hira, who attacked a human without hesitation. Was Hira really not who I thought he was? Someone who was easily annoyed but had a warm heart and cared for others? At that moment, I turned over my hand, stretching it as it brushed against my grandmother's amulet at my bedside, next to the Kushiro bell. He told me to never bother him again, yet Hira didn't take this bell back from me, though he might have just forgotten about it. Hira protected me. As we were walking back from the field of autumn leaves, I found the knife, knocked far away. If Hira hadn't come, I'm sure this wound would have been far worse. And someone's gonna tell him. Well, it's really funny because it's like Hira's thoughts, but it's yet Hira's, we're not in his perspective, which is strange for this section. But anyway, like he's all mad. Why did you try to stop me from killing this motherfucker? Like, why are you protecting this asshole? Right? And he's all mad at us for this. But it's gonna be, I feel like Seimi or Tokiwa are gonna be like, but if you had killed him, she would have been blamed for it. You know that, right? Like, she's already in trouble. And he'd be like, oh. Yeah.
Once this event is over, I could see you still sticking your nose everywhere. It'd be a pain for us to hand it off each and every time. Alright, I'll test you real good later on. If you can land a hit on me, Then that'll prove you're not weak, and I'll let you keep it.
Really? Got something in my throat, sorry. Hira looked out for me back there. That's why he gave me this tool to summon him. It was why he brought up the test and why he thought I was powerless. I'm sure he believed it somewhat, but now I felt convinced that he said all that to me just so I wouldn't worry. I'm very phlegmy for some reason.
Stop with the crazy logic, you idiot. Ugh. I thought something serious had happened.
I found out how serious Hira was after breaking my promise and ringing the bell. That he gave me the bell not just out of any whim. And then that was still the case when I rang the bell again. This is more like thoughts of Hira. Like, after the bell rang, Hira appeared out of nowhere, as swift as the wind, with his back to me, with those funky-ass pants. You can see his belly button through the text box. I have problems. Back then, Hira was so scary. No, I'm sorry, that is not scary. That's just kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's intimidating, but it's hot, so. And with it came this fear that he could possibly be worlds apart from me, and that we could never come together while acknowledging our differences. But the Hira I saw yesterday was still Hira. And it's not like the Hira I knew suddenly just became a lie. And still, despite this new fear of him that I felt, and being told never to bother him again, I knew that keeping my distance from him, even if it was to protect him, would be the wrong choice. I got involved with Hira. I want to dig deeper. Our relationship was built by the both of us together. The decision to end it couldn't be made by Hira or me alone. Only one answer remained. I'm gonna go talk to Hira. I got up and reached for my uniform on the wall, and of course, I put the Kushiro bell in my jacket pocket. If we could make up, maybe he'd tell me what Kushiro meant as well. And something else came to mind. I have feelings for Hira. Whether it spawned from my Ayakashimori duties, my curiosity, or not wanting him to be alone, I was oblivious to it for so long, but I'm no longer lost about it. This time I have to be the one to protect him. Even if these feelings weren't romantic, I felt in my heart that I was obligated to save Hira from what I dragged him into. But as I dashed out of the room, I felt myself being motivated by a feeling stronger than that. Feeling of love. Chapter 7! Came to make up! We in Chapter 7 now, bitches! I think there's only 8 chapters. Where I went first was not to Hira, but to Chief Tokiwa. I see. You want to go see Hira. What do you intend to do when you see him? I mean, Chief. Wow. That lady's gotta have some secrets. Apologize and thank him for the snacks. Have a chat. Maybe a few laughs. Maybe make out a little. He's what? Nothing. And, if possible, I want to make up with him. Make up with him, huh? I want to earn back Hira's trust. If not, Hira might not cooperate fully with the investigation. Hira is going to be questioned about what happened back then, right? Chief Tokiwa's smile vanished upon hearing my question and narrowed his eyes. Right. That can't be avoided. And if they confirm that he intended to kill Admin Manager Kaneda's son, he'll be in trouble. He might be sealed away, you mean? Yes, although you can't kill anyone in Sakuratani. If Hira truly let loose, Kaneda's son would be in worse condition. Any wounds suffered here in Sakuratani would leave some imprint when he headed home. Any one of us who knew that knew Hira wouldn't kill him. But that's not easily proven to anyone with an untrained eye, much less outside this group. Chief Tokiwa was right. Restrained or not, the Ayakashi possess untold strength, so much so that beating a human within an inch of their life was child's play. And that means being careful with talking to Hira. Extra careful. Even if we can convince the inspector of our side, that doesn't make us safe. You mean with Admin Manager Kaneda, right? Yeah, he's proposing to demolish Sakuratani. That's impossible. Even the higher-ups know not to mess with something like this.
But if it's true, I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit to punish Hira. He can't wait to prove how dangerous Ayakashi are. Do you think there's any chance he, put his son up to what happened for that purpose? I wasn't one to accuse people lightly, but the circumstances pointed to a certain conclusion. We're looking into that right now. I'm working on it myself, to tell you the truth. However, there's still a lot we can't disclose just yet. That said, there's a fish I'm hoping to catch. They've almost taken the bait, so mum's the word. Oh my god, it's not Sammy, is it? Chief Tokiwa's words gave me a little bit of hope, given the situation. Understood. Please help Hira however you can. Hira's not the only one in trouble. Don't forget about yourself. It's just yesterday that you got injured. You're right, but Hira's all I can think about right now. If he's not safe, then neither am I. No, it's even worse than that. I see. And then go to Amatsuna and see Hira. I check out Tokiwa was like, shocked, beaming. He's like, oh! Huh? You're giving me permission? So, I mean, you seemed like you'd go anyways, even if I told you no, you know? Still, don't do anything to attract attention. Can you promise that? One more thing. If you realize anything new, don't tell anyone, okay? Huh? Realize anything new? Like what? I wasn't sure what he meant, but Chief Tokiwa cracked a smile. It couldn't be too serious. At least I hoped. But then you're like, okay. This is... I've played too many of these games, and right now you're like, the Chief's like, if you think of anything, don't tell anyone, just come to me. And you're like, okay, wait a minute, though. And you want to be like, oh no, I can't trust Sammy or Yakumo. I can only trust the Chief. And then you're like, wait. Maybe I can't trust the Chief. And then if I don't tell Sammy or Yakumo, then that's shit. I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. Like, you're like, who do I trust? I don't know. Sammy always has his eyes closed. And, like, I know that there's something shady about this motherfucker. If he is not shady at all, I would be fucking shocked. Alright? Because, come on. Characters who have their eyes closed shit always goes down when they open their eyes. You're like, oh, fuck. We're screwed now. We getting stabbed or choked or some shit. Look, I'm just saying. I finally put up some of the decorations in my loft, and, like, one of them were, like, the cards from Code Realize, because I have the matching pin set. Finally found all the pins. Anyway, so those have always been up on, like, one of my shelves, so I put it up. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I'm looking at you, Saint Germain, quite literally, right in front of me. Like, anyway. Got it. Don't draw any attention. Right. Don't push yourself. I hope you can make up with him. With nothing more to say, Chief Tokiwa warmly saw me out. Remember we saw that file on his desk? I don't know if we should trust the Chief. That's why we can't date him, because he's probably not trustworthy. Also, like, Jun Fukuyama characters, kind of iffy. Look, I love the man. We know this. But, like, sometimes your characters are a little iffy. Sometimes your characters are great. And wonderful, okay? Like, Koga and Ayakashi Romance were born. Just beautiful, wonderful Oni. Okay, you're just lovely. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. At all. I think he was actually generally a sweetheart. I stopped playing the game because the gacha was such a bitch, and it was before they put hard pity in there, and I was, like, so mad. And I just rage quit. But I still love my boys. Okay, fine. But, like, and you know, then when you got Tears of Themis, you got Vin, and you're like, you're so great, wonderful, but you're a little. I trust you, and I would trust you with my life, and other people might say you have a bunch of red flags. I don't see them, but that's just because you're voiced by Jun Fukuyama, so, like, you could literally be waving all the red flags in my face, and I'd be like, what? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, so. But I'm just saying, sometimes as characters, you're like, I love you? Well, no, that's not true. And then I'm thinking anime characters. You know, it's questionable. You could be good, you could be bad. He does not, like, I'm just going through all the characters in my head. I'm like, no, not really typecast. No. That one's a little shady. That one's not, it's just, you're typecast as, I love you. Anyway. The town feels like everyone's so nervous. I'd come so many times and eventually got to know Amatsuna town so well. I recognized plenty of Ayakashi walking past me, but none would call out to me. Felt like they were keeping their distance somewhat. Is it because of what happened with Hira? These complicated feelings simmered for a while as I made my way to Amawa Mansion when...
It's you! Sorry, but can you just go home?
Huh? The Tengu who had always been courteous to me before glared at me, and one of them was holding Hira's Uchiwa fan.
Hira could get punished because of you, right? I heard from the Kappa.
We don't want to suspect you of anything, but you're the one who brought that human here and the one who called Hira with the bell.
The older Tengu are saying that you intentionally sent him Hira.
I was suddenly at a loss for words, and this is where you cry. You're like, I would never do that. I love Hira. I mean, what? I could understand how some may have thought that, given the situation.
Hey!
At that moment, a quiet Zashiki Warashi, showed its face from inside the building.
Takao has something to tell you and said it's okay for you to come in. He's quiet, so I have to whisper.
Takao? I thought I'd be turned away at the gate after what the others said, but the Tengu moved aside at hearing Takao's name. Okay, I was like, if Takao looks angry at us, then I'm sad. But Takao looks kind of sad, so it's like, oh my god, you're still my friend, I love you! Okay. That would hurt me. Sorry, I didn't notice earlier. Those guys are just real nervous right now. Oh, no. Meeting me in the reception room, I saw that Takao's face was dark. But that's to be expected. Hira, who he spent so much of his life with, was put in so much danger because of what happened, and all because of me. Takao might be the one with the most valid criticism against me. I heard from one of the children that you had something to tell me. Yeah, but you've got something too, right? That's probably why you're here. Yes. You go first. Gestured by Takao, I nod. I'd like you to allow me to see Hira. Please let me talk to him. Hira did tell me yesterday. He said never to bother him again, but I just can't do that. So that's what I want to tell him, and I want to apologize for this disaster. I want to know what Hira's feeling right now. It's best you just don't come near Hira anymore. Huh? I asked you in the past to take care of Hira. That was my mistake. Humans and Ayakashi just can't get along after all. Hey, that's not true! Takao, what the fuck? Takao, buddy. Takao's voice was so cold. The town of Amatsuna had become so sullen, and just as the eyes of all the Ayakashi looking at me were colored in suspicion, Takao was distancing himself from me too. This makes me so sad. Stop it, you're hurting my feelings, I'm gonna cry. I'm a crier, remember? In the games I don't cry though. It's like, I cry all the time except for when we're playing games and things should make me cry, and then I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Is that the biggest reason? Because Ayakashi and humans can't get along? What do you mean? If you doubt me too, please don't hesitate to say so. I would understand. Well, I don't doubt you. But considering what happened, you get it, right? How different you and Hira are? Please, don't make that decision for us. I've told Hira before too, but there are times when humans can't get along with each other either. But that's no reason not to try and talk. If we somehow can't come to an agreement, we can try to meet in the middle. If compromise is impossible, then we'll give up. But to throw away our relationship without even giving it a chance feels wrong. Ugh, we really don't think alike. That's not what I wanted to hear. Yeah, well, that's because you're a lazy man. Women want to figure this shit out. Look, let's talk about this. Men are like, I just don't want to bother, okay? Lazy men. Listen, Takao, slaps him across the face. You're gonna do what I fucking said! Are you prepared to eat the flesh of a Ningyo? Huh? I'm asking you if you're ready to be an Ayakashi. Hira doesn't need some Ayakashimori to babysit him for a few decades at most. I was wrong too. I didn't take the weight on his shoulders seriously enough. As Takao murmured, it wasn't anger in his eyes, but disappointment. Not just in himself, but also from letting his feelings become known. What he needs is someone who understands him by living alongside him. You got a little close, but close wasn't enough. Look how hurt he is. He's hurt because I got close. Takao, the weight on Hira's shoulders, Takao told me exactly what he needed. Someone to live alongside with and understand him. It explained the root of Hira's sorrow, what must have caused him to lose interest in living his life. I've hurt Hira. Is that what you think, Takao? Yeah, that's why I told you. If you're not ready to transform, then just forget about Hira. I'm not gonna get in the line of your duty. I'm not gonna get in the line of your duty? I'm not gonna get in the way. But I can't leave our Shirei to a woman who breaks his heart again when she dies in a few decades. Aww, Takao, that's so sweet. You're saying I broke his heart. Oh, that means he really cared about me. And then when I die in a few decades, oh yeah, no, I mean, that's true. Yeah, fair. I'm not good with taking care of anything, though I did enjoy leisurely watching humans live their lives. He did say that at one point. Who knows? It was so long ago I've forgotten, and I don't feel like being around them anymore. Because, like pets, your pets die, and at some point you're like, I just can't live my life watching my pets die. Preposterous. Ayakashi and humans are different. Coming together to make a family is impossible. Were you in love once and then they died on you? Aww. Even this trash is supposed to be human. Why? Combined with what Takao told me, all of what Hira said before came to mind, and I imagined what lay locked away in Hira's heart. But honestly, I have to hear it from Hira, or else I won't know if I'm right. Shove Takao out of the way. I'm going in! Ningyo Princess. Afterwards, I asked Takao again and again, but he just wouldn't let me see Hira. I guess Hira really doesn't want to see me. Otherwise, he would have shown himself. Hira was so strong that not even Takao could keep him locked away forever if he didn't want to be. It's only obvious. He told me never to see him again. You should have given the bell back. Fine. Take this back then. Anyways, I don't feel like Ayakashi and humans can't come together. I hope Kinka and Yakuma... Oh, that's me. Anyways, I don't feel like Ayakashi and humans can't come together. I hope Kinka and Yakuma find happiness together too. I was just assuming because it was Hira, and then when I saw the Kinka and Yakuma, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a Hira thing to say. Can they really, though? Ayakashi and humans are so different. Humans die so quickly. Shiratsuki didn't seem to give a crap. He's the one with the ears and the tail, you know, because he's a fox, and yet we're the one that's basically like the dog in the relationship. It's gonna be like, sweet Spacey, my pup, and then she dies, and then we have to get a new puppy to replace her. You know what I'm just saying? Oh my god, we're a dog in this situation. This is weird, but... Well, if you focus all day on differences of our lifespans, then I'm sure you can think of many reasons why they wouldn't work out. But Ayakashi and humans are more similar than you think. Even humans have to deal with mismatched personalities or unrequited love. It's just, I kind of do, like, because this is definitely something, it's a human thing to do. Very people thing. To be like, I'm kind of into this person, but, you know, it'd be difficult, and what if they broke my... Nah, forget it. I'm just gonna stop now. Don't ever talk to me again. I'm gonna go away in a huff and never talk to them again so that I don't get hurt. You have a slight hurt, and it's like a little argument, and instead of like working through it, You're like, they could just hurt me worse. This is a tiny little scratch and it hurts. No, forget it. And then you give up because it's easier to give up. I know. Queen of giving up. Or just not trying. I haven't heard that in a while. Huh? It's nothing. Just thinking of how there was another weird Ayakashimori before you. Hira... When I saw Hira laugh at how strange I seemed, I felt our hearts connect for the first time. That was hardly the only time. I was swept away by the reverie. Can't explain why Hira grew tired of the world, equally disenchanted with mankind and Ayakashi. Still, if what Takao said is true, was it impossible to understand Hira without becoming an Ayakashi? Ironically, I read through some academic papers on mutant transformation while researching the Ningyo when I was tasked with escorting the inspector. That one would become something non-human. To break free of the cycle and live for eternity. It would change more than my appearance, and I'm not even sure I'd actually transform, so if it fails, I'll die. Success meant life as I knew it would be over. To my friends and family in the real world, I would be as good as dead to them, and my relationship with the Ayakashimori would change. I can't see this working out, but she's considering it! That's interesting. I may have felt that because of my cowardice. Compared to how clear my feelings were for Hira, the future I desperately tried to envision was just too foggy. But, like, you have to... Are you prepared to eat the flesh of a Ningyo? No, I'm not gonna kill an innocent fucking being just for... That's weird. Oh. A breeze brushed against my cheek, and I realized that while I was deep in thought, I reached the edge of the creek in the field of autumn leaves. It's you!
You okay?
It's you two. The Ningyo popped their heads up from underwater. Is your wound okay?
Thanks for protecting us back then.
Oh, of course. I felt my heart fill with emotion. The Ningyo still believed in me. That fact helped ease me a bit, but my biggest problem wasn't that I wasn't trusted by the Ayakashi. Is it possible Hira might get punished?
After you left with Tokira, Takao came to check on things here, but it looked like he was in a lot of pain.
The Ningyo were also worried about Hira. I think it's best not to think about what'll happen between me and Hira for now. One of my reasons for wanting to talk to Hira was to apologize and make up, but more than that, I wanted to protect Hira from any unjust punishment. The investigation's still underway. I'm sure they'll ask about what happened, but when they do, please tell them what unfolded. You don't need to cover for Hira. That should suffice. Hira did nothing wrong. I smiled as I spoke, trying to let the Ningyo feel just a bit more at ease. That's right. Hira did nothing wrong. And yet, I pushed him into this situation. I hurt him. Hira, is that why you don't want to talk to me? I wondered if Hira closed his heart off from me so we could talk and continue our relationship, or worse, not have a future together at all. So we couldn't talk and continue our... Okay, that's it. Well, the thing is like, I brought him into this and him attacking, and that's why he's mad at me. No, I think he's mad because you were protecting this piece of trash human who was trying to kill you and the... You know what I mean? Like... Because that seemed what he was mad about. Not like, you called me in, and now I'm going to get in trouble for saving you. He wasn't thinking about that. He was like, you're stopping me from killing this fucking piece of shit? He's like, why are you protecting this piece of trash? Oh, it's because he's a human. Sure, fine. And you're like, no, it's just because I'm protecting you by not letting you kill him. Like, I want you to kill him. This guy is trash. I'm with you, but if you do, you're going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? But in that heat of that moment, all that person is thinking is like, I want to kill this trash! You know? Anyway. You both are really worried about each other, huh? Both?
You and Hira?
Yesterday, after Takao left, Hira came too. He asked around to all the Ayakashi that know you to help if anything happened. Hira did? I couldn't believe it. Even now, I was convinced that Hira was completely disappointed in me. Because I couldn't promise that I'd transform. Hira saved me, and I had so much to apologize for, and I was still so powerless. But even then, Hira asked them to help me. All this time, that's the type of Ayakashi he was. The Hira I knew. all this time. You have the same feelings for each other, huh? I realized the Ningyo looked back at me with kind eyes, and I wiped away a tear that almost fell. Who can say? I still haven't talked with Hira, so I'm not sure what exactly is the case. After I answer, the two Ningyo look at one another for a moment, then giggled. You don't need to do that to know. Huh?
You didn't see it? When he protected you, Hira looked so dignified and handsome, protecting someone so precious to him.
Hira really likes you so much. Hira likes me? All this time I thought of how I liked Hira, and that's why I wanted to see him. Not for romantic reasons, but because I couldn't bear to lose him. But hearing what the Ningyo just said, my heart began to race. I thought of just how wonderful that would be if it were really true.
It's okay. You won't become a Ningyo princess, so you can still save the prince and be happy with him without turning into sea foam.
Key, Chapter 7.
The key to saving him is right over there.
As she spoke, she looked over toward... Good evening! Whoa! Byobu Nozoki, who watched out for the Ningyo while they changed yesterday, quietly appeared. You scared me. Huh? Wait, why are you here even though there isn't a folding screen? I heard from my friends in Amatsuna that Hira was in big trouble. And as I grew bored of hiding behind the folding screen, I peeked out and saw something a bit frightening. A bit frightening? It seems the man you brought with you wasn't actually aspiring to become an artist.
Right? It seems like he was another human looking to sell us off.
I mean, yeah, we figured that one. Sell off? You mean... As you two were walking, the new visitor was using his hand device to send a message. I saw frightening things written like, how much for a chunk of Ningyo meat and bonus is awarded if the blood is included. What? This really could be the key to saving Hira. Byobu Nozoki, do you remember any other details? If we knew when that was, we'd be able to know where to look in our surveillance footage. Wait a minute. Okay, this concerns me. Because the chief was like, if you learn anything new, don't tell anyone. Chief, are you involved? Jun Fukuyama, no! Don't do it to me! Don't be the voice of a character I can't trust because I love you. Oh, Etsuya, we'll get you out of prison. It'll be fine. I summon a surveillance doctrine and link it to my device. I think it was around when... As I was listening to Byobu Nozoki, I punched in the time she mentioned and... I saw the chief on his phone too! Kaneda, please take the seat over here. It's the best seat in the house. That's great. I can see everything from here. But I'd be even happier if I could get closer to the Ningyo, though. I think you'll be able to see them closer when we greet them. And how we didn't notice he was texting. This was before the dance competition had started. Right, we were facing away from the folding screen the Ningyo were using to change behind, and faced the shoreline of the river, acting as the stage.
Ayakashimori! The water gun fight was fun!
I'm glad! Text. And the fact that he can, text type without looking is amazing. Wait! While I was talking to the Kappa, Kaneda took out a device and browsed the messages he had received. As I looked over the image of the paused video, I saw exactly what Byobu Nozoki mentioned. Kaneda was asking about prices for Ningyo blood and flesh, presumably from a buyer. Oh my, it was so scary! Indeed, and it seems like it's not the first time that man sold Ayakashi. What?
Yeah, the writing says things like, this time here, and even last time wasn't so great.
I had to sneeze. Hold. Went to sneeze and it went, and it stunted and went back in, and I was like, fuck, I gotta sneeze anyway. Thank you very much, everyone. If we can ID the buyer using this as our trial and get testimony, using this as our trail, and get testimony from them, we'll have even more proof that Kaneda was after you all. That'll definitely convince anyone that Hira tried to protect the Ayakashi of the sector. Oh, the image and her testimony aren't enough?
That's rough.
Right. Unfortunately, we can't be sure that the testimony and surveillance will be enough to convince the opposing side that we're not biased. But you'll find the bad guy for us, right? Do your best. Well, it's not like I personally will be the one to find out who that buyer is. But I have so many people around me I can count on, and I'll make good use of this information. I feel like Tokiwa should not be involved because, like, he could easily do it himself. Anyway, proof.
Nice work, Spacey.
It really is. Just like you said, if we can find out who this buyer is, we might be able to avoid Hira from getting punished. We might be able to avoid Hira from getting punished. Really, Tim? Fuck, what the hell? That's not English. We might be able to avoid Hira getting punished. Not Hira from getting punished. Avoid him from. That's weird. It's an awkward sentence. Anyway, after not seeing them for a full day, it felt like longer since I'd seen Seimi and Yakumo's beaming faces, and they applauded my efforts. My god, she's like, I missed you, Seimi. Wait, what? I miss him all the time, too. It wasn't me. It was because of the Ningyo and Byobu Nozoki's help. No, we got their help because these Ayakashi really do trust you. I don't think I've ever met Byobu Nozoki.
Yeah, she may not seem like it, but she can be hard to please. Those Ningyo even gave me the silent treatment just last night.
Could Hira's request have something to do with why they helped me? Just like Takao said, many Ayakashi would give up, thinking how different humans and Ayakashi are, and would sit in silence, detached from humanity. But the thing is, you're not just helping us in this case, you're helping Hira. So, you know, even though they mean no harm by it, that's what happens naturally given our environment, which is why I was so touched that the Ayakashi helped me. Like, I can understand not trusting the Ayakashimori at first, being like, oh yeah, you, but like, we're not here, like, trying to beat you down, and like, we're trying to protect you, and in this situation, like, Hira protected me, but this guy was trying to kill you. Hira protected you, and so by you saying, oh yeah, no, this is what I heard, and look, right there, it's like, look, Hira was protecting them, fuck this dude. You know, if they didn't tell us about it, that's not protecting Hira. You know what I mean? Like, Hira would have gotten screwed over. So, like, they're really helping him more than me, but, like, whatever. Oh, did I read that last line? It's what happens to get... Okay. Oh, yeah, why I was touched, they helped me. Okay, anyway. As we spoke, Chief Tokiwa called the investigation unit and put back down the receiver of the phone set up in the room. And they decided to mobilize the real world's investigation in Shikigami to ID the buyer. Investigations also seems bothered by the whole thing. Admin Manager Kaneda's a real nuisance, but they're happy now the truth is closer. That's great! I hadn't told you, but Hira's already been convicted. We did what we could to reduce his sentence and push it back however possible. However, now that we've got these messages, postponing the arraignment was a piece of cake. That being the case, we'll be able to attack Kaneda from our other angle. Another angle? What do you mean? Before you updated us, I was actually tailing a rumor about Kaneda relating to the Ayakashi. That said he was embezzling goods from Sakuratani. Admin Manager Kaneda, you mean? Right. It's been a challenge since I've been covering my tracks, but I assume Kaneda himself introduced his son to the buyer. Most importantly, it's very possible that Kaneda didn't want to dirty his own hands. With this, it's pretty clear that he's making someone under him move under his direction. Huh? What do you mean by goods related to Ayakashi? Skin, nails, hair. Sometimes even restraining them to obtain those parts while they're still alive is what investigations and I suspect. That's horrible! It really is. It really is. I felt disgruntled just hearing about it, but now I know why the Ningyo noticed it might not have been his first time.
Might be why we see Ayakashi all beat up after some mystery fight, acting strangely tight-lipped about what happened.
And it's so funny that they don't say anything, but that's sad. That is so sad right there. Is like, if you, like, what happened? Nothing! No, nothing! Even though, like, even if, like, you knew Sammy, he's been here for years, whatever, and then Kaneda comes in and does this, and then you're afraid to tell, like, there's so many, that's like a punch in the gut, because you've seen, you know right now you're thinking of so many situations in the real world where shit like this happens, something bad happens to someone, and they're like, I can't tell anyone because I was threatened, and if I tell someone, they either won't believe me, I'll have to go through this rigmarole and be humiliated all over again, or this person threatened that they would find me and kill my family, and then, you know what I mean? Like, you watched any kind of fucking cop show, you've seen this shit. You watch the news, you've seen this shit, and it's like, oh, you want to think in a game and be like, just fucking tell the Ayakashimori they're there to protect you, but you know damn well it's like, tell the cops they're there to protect, you know, oh, it's because it's so real that you're like, oh no, it's so believable because it happens every day in the real world. Anyway.
If that's the case, they think low of the 6th, right? You won't let this go, will you, Itsuya?
Of course not. This proposition that Sakuratani isn't necessary, probably formed from trying to get rich off this disgusting trade. I'm sure he sent his own son down to preach against the perilous Ayakashi. Also, they could demolish Sakuratani and turn the Ayakashi into livestock. That's clearly horrible! Yeah, and that's not even possible in the first place!
Seriously, this is why people who've only heard of Ayakashi can be such trouble. But if Kaneda has some mission causing trouble in Sakuratani, there has to be someone who got a passage permit issued from the higher-ups, right?
Exactly. That being the case, this fish we're trying to catch might be someone pretty big from that side. We'll continue the investigation on this buyer, but let us all here make a move as well. We'll make sure Kaneda can't destroy evidence. Huh? I mean, I'm sure we'd all really like to, but do you think he'd give up so peacefully? And I think forcibly restraining him would certainly be problematic, wouldn't it?
Oh no, it'll be fine, I'm sure. Our ever-capable chief's been keeping an ace up his sleeve just in case.
I like him, we're like, I don't think tying him up and beating him is a good idea, and Sammy's like, I'll go get the pillows and the pillowcases and the sticks. We'll put a pillowcase over his head and then he won't know it's us. Stop it. What I've got now isn't enough to call me ever-capable. Their bromance is adorable, I do love them. It's just, it certainly is downfall to have mistakenly thought, even for a moment, that I've become his yes man. He flashed a sly smile, and we realized Atsuya Tokiwa is hot AF. Just imagine all that in Jun Fukuyama's beautiful voice. Oh, God. Chapter 8, report. Ooh! We're already at chapter... Oh, okay. Oh, there was no choices in chapter 7. That makes sense. Anyway, I think this is the last chapter. Yes. Ooh, okay, yeah. So I'm going to stop here, though, because we're right about at time, and this is the perfect place. And we will start chapter 8 and possibly get our good ending in the next part. I don't know. We'll see how long chapter 8 is. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.